In today's video, I want to talk about what happens when a debt collector buys your debt. I get this question a lot about how can they buy my debt? Is it legal for them to buy my debt? I've seen videos where people claim that if a debt collector buys your debt that you could just disregard them when they try to contact you. There's a whole bunch of misconceptions out there, and I want to clarify that in this video. First, I want to start off with this is stuff that we do every day. We actually speak to debt collectors on behalf of our clients. We actually help our clients fight back against debt collectors by coaching them. We've actually negotiated with debt collectors. And I can tell you the facts are that debt collectors can legally buy debt and collect on that debt. But there are rules, regulations, documents that are required. And to not take my word on this, because I want to help you find the education or find the information to know that what I'm speaking about is true, all you have to do is look up the Supreme Court ruling, Henson versus Santander. And then you will see straight facts that debt collectors can buy debt, and that ruling actually made it even better for debt collectors because they said that if a debt collector buys debt and they only collect it for themselves, that they don't collect debt for other companies or other entities, that they only buy it and they collect it for themselves, they actually take the position of the original creditor. Don't take my word on it. Look up Henson v. Santander, Supreme Court, United States Supreme Court, not just a state Supreme Court or a regional court. This was the United States Supreme Court. Also, I want to give a congratulations to one of our clients who just got her case dismissed. Let me tell you this quick story about what happened to her. I think that this will make you feel empowered, because when you're going through this stuff, there's a whole bunch of uncertainty. There's a whole bunch of uncertainty because you've never went through it before. Anything that you've done before, it's a lot easier the next time. But when you haven't done something before, like going to court and representing yourself against debt collectors, or even sending out debt validation responses the right way to debt collectors, you have this feeling of uncertainty. And when you have a feeling of uncertainty, what you do is you default. We all do this. We default back to something that we feel certain about. And we go to get a feeling to make us feel better about what we're going through. And this is actually what makes a lot of people quit, because if the feeling that you default back to does not give you a feeling of empowerment, like I'm just going to push through, most people will quit. And this is why 75%, reported 75% from my research, about 95% of judgments that are given to individuals who are going to court against debt collectors, when they either don't show up or they even show up, and some of them, even when they show up with an attorney, end up in a judgment because they don't even know what I'm about to share with you right now. So when a company charges off a debt, they sell it to a third-party debt buyer for pennies on the dollar. That means the original creditor is out of the picture. And you can watch my videos to show you how to either deal with that charge off on your credit reports to get it removed, or to get it updated to where it's going to show that they've sold that debt. And it doesn't matter what they sold it to. It just would say that it's settled for less because they've taken money for it. So you can seek out my videos on that. So, and the new company, they're just trying to collect the debt for whatever they can. So when a debt collector buys a debt, they're just like, hey, we're going to try to go hit a home run, collect on all of it or a portion of it. But no matter what, they just want to collect more than what they purchased the debt for, which is pennies on the dollar. But just because they bought it for pennies on the dollar doesn't mean that they're in the business of getting 2 cents to double their money. No. They want to make as much money as possible. So they're not going to just back up. So I want to make this clear because I think some people get this mixed up, is debt collectors try to leverage you. Leverage means that they're going to throw the kitchen sink at you to try to make you not do the right things, make the right decisions. That's how they leverage you. The way to deleverage them, debt collectors, the way to deleverage debt collectors is to have the right information on what you need to do to challenge them. And even if, let's just say even if, because a lot of people like to know the worst case scenarios. What's the worst case scenario? The worst case scenario is that you end up settling the debt. But let me tell you, if you don't do it the right way by challenging the debt collector, you just walk up and you just say, I just want to pay it. You're leveraging yourself even more. Because then they're going to probably say, well, what about all the fees? What about all the interest? What about all the other stuff? So they'll send scary letters. They'll make calls. They'll even threaten legal action. But the truth is, most of them don't have the documents they need to back up their claim. And if you challenge them the right way, they might walk away from the debt completely. If a debt collector is trying to collect from you, here's what they must provide you if you request a debt validation. The first thing they need to do is they need to have a purchase agreement. This is the contract that proves they actually bought the debt, your specific debt. Most of the time, they're just getting a spreadsheet with names and balances and no actual agreements. Like, these are the files. I've seen this. They'll have this, we bought this file number or this database number. That's not enough proof. The next thing they need to do is they need to have the original contract agreement from the original creditor. This is the contract that you have signed. They need to provide that documentation. Without that, they can't even prove the terms of the debt that they're claiming that you owe. So there has to be a contract. They don't just make us sign contracts when we get loans and do all of these different things. They don't just make you sign a contract just to be playing games. That contract has the terms. That contract shows that you signed that agreement. Also, you have a right to get the full payment history. They need to show every charge, fee, payment made from day one, no gaps. If they can't, they're just guessing about your balance. I talk about that a lot. If they were the original creditor, just imagine the original creditor, you had a dispute with the original creditor. You tell the original creditor, give me everything so I can just go through everything that I've done with you. They would have it to you with some of them within a minute or two. Some of them, they'll mail it to you. But here's the thing, is that they would be able to get you all of that information. Debt collectors can rarely get all of that. I've never seen any debt collector that could get all of the information. I've seen some that get more than others, but I've never seen one that can get all of the information. The next thing is that you need to get a chain of custody of the debt. If your debt was sold multiple times, they must show every step in the transaction. I see this a lot. Even if one link is missing, they are out of the game. And also, I've seen this where they sold a portfolio company buys the debt and then they sell it to another debt collector. And some of the original creditors, Credit One Bank, which comes to mind, specifically states that debt collectors who buy their debt, Credit One Bank debt, cannot sell it to another debt collector. The reason why is they don't want any repercussions from what that other third party debt collector does. They say, we sold it to you, debt collection company number one, we sold it to you, and don't sell it to no one else because we don't know what they're going to do. We have a relationship with you. So now, here's your secret weapon. If you get a debt collection notice, don't ignore it. I don't care what you hear from people. Do not ignore it. but don't admit to the debt. So some of the times people will say, well, if they've never sent me a debt collection letter, but they're calling me, how can I get the debt collection letter from them without admitting to the debt? You specifically tell them, I'm not admitting to the debt. I don't know what you're talking about, but you need to mail me. I have a right for you to mail to me in writing what you're talking about here on the phone. And if you cannot do that, you need to cease all collection activities for whatever debt this is for. And no, I'm not going to give you any of the information, because if you supposedly are the owner of a debt that you claim that I owe, you should have all of the information. So you don't need to give them your name, your address, none of that stuff. Because then that'll just stop them and just keep them calling, because their verification process must have some type of flaw in it. If they fail to provide these documents, you can dispute the debt on your credit reports. And in many cases, they'll have to back off because they have no proof and no payment history, no nothing to prove that you're the person that they're supposed to be coming after you for. And if they try to take you to court, guess what? You have all of your evidence to show that you've given them the opportunity to get you the information, and now they're trying to take you to court. Guess what's going to happen? That's going to get knocked right out of the ballpark. So now, if you found this information very valuable, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to like this video. I want you to share this video. I want you to comment on this video. Now, if you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch video What Makes Us Different so you can see my 8-point validation process, my 2-phase settlement process. We challenge debt collectors as part of our credit repair process. If you don't know your credit reports and scores, if you want to get your TransUnion, Equifax, Experian credit reports and all 3 scores, I would encourage you to go to www.your3scores.com to grab your TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian credit reports and all 3 scores, because that's where everything starts. Also, you're going to need those addresses of those furnishers, those debt collectors who put information on their credit reports. And here's a little secret nugget. Any debt collector who puts information on your credit reports and you mail out to them a debt validation to that address, and that address is not deliverable, that is a violation of them. They're supposed to have accurate information, including their information for their furnisher addresses. Here's the proof on that. Any company that is putting information on the credit reports has to have someone go out from the 3 main credit reporting agencies and LexisNexis. Anyone who is putting history on you, they send out these auditors. I'm not sure if they're called auditors, but they send them out to do a spot check on your location, on their locations, to make sure that they're, number one, in the business that they're claiming to be in, and also the address to make sure it's an accurate address, because they don't want someone putting information on your credit reports and then that company is not anywhere to be found, because then the bureau would be held responsible for that. So that's why it's very important. Get all 3 credit reports and get it from a source that's going to give you all of the information. The one that I recommend, go to www.your3scores.com. Links are below this video. Now, if you have debt collectors coming after you, sending you letters, sending you emails, I'm going to give you 2 choices. And this could stop them early. Get my 3-pack of letters: statute of limitations letter, debt validation letter, cease and desist collection activity letter. If you don't know how to put anything together, like Steve, I don't know if I want to type anything, I just don't want to mess it up, then what you can do is go to my AI application, summonsmaster.com. All you have to do is put your debt collection letter in there, or you can print your debt collection email, just print it and make it as a JPEG or as a PDF, that document, because it's going to have all the information on there from the email. Upload that to Summons Master debt validation side. It'll create first class, exclusive, certified debt validation letter that will make most debt collectors run with their tail tucked between their legs. Go there. It's only $27, or you can have us do it. We charge $59. That service is very important, because even if they decide to move forward, guess what? Just like I mentioned earlier, you had ammunition in your hand to fight back against them. So thank you for your time. Subscribe to the channel, post your questions and comments. This is Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com. Go out there and make yourself a great day and get ready for the future, because I see brighter days. Got to go through some stuff, but I do see brighter days. Thank you for your time.